Next up in the workroom.
More than meets the eye. Hey guys, welcome back. And look, I found my shirt. So I changed it while we were, you know, taking a break. And I didn't like how light the blue was, so I darkened him up a little bit. He looks more like Prime now. So we're just going to continue on painting, and we're going to just see where we go and how we get going from here. Uh, we're going to take my lead belcher, and we are going to get onto the silver parts of Prime, which is basically his legs, the smokestacks, and hips, all that good stuff. Now, like I said before, these guys come pre-primed, and they're not primed in black. Um, but that's okay. If you don't like priming, or if you don't like working off of black, or if you don't wanna, you want to just use them how they are, that's totally cool. Like I said, I like to work off black mostly because, well, black hides not only mistakes, but also hides any parts you may have missed with the paint. So, there's that. And I know it's so difficult for you guys to see exactly what I'm painting or how I'm painting. And I'll try and find some way to, fix it. But right now I really don't know how. But we're doing what we can. We're making the best of what I got. Let's kind of show you along the way as best as I can as well. As we go along. Because these guys are because these guys are a bit bigger than a lot of the other miniatures that I'm used to working on. Getting into the littler spots is a bit easier because they're not quite as little as some of the other miniatures that I've worked on. And that's cool too. Now I know that some of the toys and some of the uh, comic books, maybe in the cartoons, show them more as gray than say silver, but we're gonna go with silver, at least on the legs. I might change the hip to a silver or to a gray. And that's a great thing about painting miniatures. You don't like the color? Paint over it. Well, we're going to see how everything looks once I get it painted silver. Maybe it won't be that bad. Or maybe I will think it looks really weird and won't like it at all. In which case, um, it'll have to be changed. Now again, some of it I will be keeping silver, like the legs themselves will be kept silver, because silver. And I like how it looks. Now there is some panel lining on Prime's legs that we'll have to deal with once we get the base colors down. But I don't think that'll be a big issue. And this is where you get to be just a little bit neater when you're doing your painting. Because you know you don't want to cover over too much of the stuff that you've already done. You've spent so much time uh, getting all your getting the colors right. Sorry about that. So basically, as you can see, um, the silver on the legs actually looks really good. I like that. We're going to get the rest of the silver on here. And we'll go from there. See how it looks. No, and transformers like this, or well, miniatures like this, transformers, because they're so big, they're actually a little bit quicker to paint out than the regular smaller miniatures that I'm used to doing, like the Warhammer miniatures or whatever. Basically any of the other miniatures that I've done on this show. This is, I think, the biggest one I've done to date. And that's okay. There might be bigger ones yet coming down the pipe. Who knows? I never know what I'm going to be doing on this show from week to week. Shouldn't say that really. I do have a bit of a plan. Not much of one, but I do have a little bit of a plan. I got as you can kind of see from behind me, I got a ton of miniatures to do. Most of them are Warhammer. Most of them are personal. So I spent a lot of time behind my painting table, painting my own stuff. And then, you know, any of the companies out there that are nice enough to send me miniatures, uh, I try my very best to review them in a timely manner. So, you know, like these guys are whiz kids. I've done lots of different companies, and it's been a joy painting each and every miniature that I've actually gotten through these guys. Uh, Not necessarily whiz kids, but anybody that I've had a chance to deal with. Right. Let's finish off the other two sides of the leg, shall we? And I'm also deciding whether or not I want to do the gas tanks on Prime's legs, silver, or keep them blue. I haven't fully decided yet. And they look good blue. Well, they might stand out okay if they're silver too. Oh, good. You guys can still see what I'm doing. That's awesome. I'm getting better at making sure that I keep the miniatures, you know, in frame so you can actually see what I'm doing and not just have to imagine me throwing paint onto these miniatures. There we go. Prime's hips and legs are at least locked in. They're not necessarily completely finished, but you know, they're there. And of course, we can't forget the stacks. Yeah, look at that. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the elbow joint. We're going to do the elbow joint too. Because we can. And I think it'll look good. And as much as I'm trying to do Prime exactly the way that we know them and love them, and I am going to take just a little bit of artistic license on a few pieces. but not, not too many. It's mostly I'm not exactly sure if the elbow joints are actually silver or not, but for my Prime, they are. Because he's my Prime, and I can do pretty much what I wanted to. If I want to, I could even do them in the black version. I've seen it. I've seen toys where Prime is all in black, and that's pretty cool. I like that. Seen them all in white. So I'm trying to do a nice classic, red and blue. Red and blue Prime. There we go. Now there is some silver on his face that we're gonna get to, but we're gonna get to that later. Uh, right now, it's literally just about blocking in the colors. Now, on his torso, there is a silver line that. Now I don't know if I'll probably make it silver too. Of course, if you know Transformers, you know that right here, so there's a silver line for Prime. Let's see. Yeah, kind of see it here on the paper. Right there. So we are going to do that. And then after this, we're going to give them a Nuln Oil wash, but I have a Nuln Oil gloss wash, which will be really cool because it's not going to really darken them down a whole lot, but it's going to give them, will go into the panel lines. Well, I think it'll make them look really good. So this is kind of some of the parts where you want to be a little gentler, a little nicer. Make sure you take your time. Make sure that get your paint right where you want it. I mean, you can go back. You still go back and fix things if things get a little mucky. But if you don't have to, then why? I am enjoying. I'm really enjoying actually painting this Prime. It brings me back to being a kid when Transformers first came out. I had the original Prime with Roller and the trailer and all that cool stuff. Now he's beginning to look like our pal and our buddy. Your Prime, my Prime, everybody's Prime. Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with how he's turning out. Uh, still thinking about those gas caps, or those gas tanks on his legs. But for now, we're gonna leave him blue. Okay. And then probably what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to the small layer brush. Grab the Everland. And the camera just isn't too much. There we go. Everland Sunset. So we can get some yellow on our Prime. Now there's not a lot of yellow. There'll be yellow here on the hips and a little bit on the forearm. That's really about it. I haven't decided if I'm going to do yellow in the lights on the upper part of his chest. But we'll see. But we'll see. And of course, probably the Everland is not going to be the final yellow. But it's a good base to work off of. It's a heavily pigmented yellow, so even though you'll still have to do a couple of coats to get a nice, good, solid yellow, it actually covers quite well over the darker colors. Which is actually quite nice. I really, really do like that. So, yeah, it's actually quite nice.
I mean, I am using the small layer brush, but it still does some bigger areas. And it gives me a nice measure of control.
Which is actually really nice. Because right now I'm doing actually some very, very precise uh, spot painting for the yellow. But if I go over top of it, or if I go over top of the silver, guess what? I just repaint with the silver. No big deal. It's all right. I've actually found through what I've been painting miniatures for, I don't know, just about 20 years or so. And even though I'm not as far along in my skills as some people, and there are some amazing painters out there, um, I have pretty much learned that you can make mistakes when you paint. You can overpaint, but can you can pretty much go back at any time, pick up the colors, or pick out the colors that you need to. So if you find that you've overpainted a little bit on a certain color, like, say for instance, the yellow that I'm about to do here, if it wanders into the red, that's fine. You can you can fix it by getting some red out, going back over top. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what's going to happen right here. There we go. So yeah, it's a little bit of a tidying up job with the red. You can see the forearm is taken care of. The waist and groin area here is taken care of. And we just have to go back with some of the red and tidy up a little bit. No big deal. Now, of course, we don't have to do the other forearm because the other forearm is covered by the gun. There we go. There we go. A little tighter, a little sharper. There you go. Pretty cool, huh? Now, we've run a little bit long on time today, but that's okay. We wanted to get this tidied up a little bit before we say goodbye. But now, it's time to say goodbye. So, stay safe, paint safe, and we'll see you next time in the workshop, all right?